Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Today, we are stepping right into the middle of a dilemma that I think pretty much every single professional listening to has wrestled with at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's what I call the relationship management paradox.
Yeah.
You know the feeling. You have a network, you have leads, maybe candidates or partners, but where do they actually live?
Right.
And I don't mean geographically. I mean, where do they live on your computer?
It is the classic struggle. And usually you are stuck between two very unappealing extremes.
Yeah.
On one side, you have the chaotic Wild West of manual spreadsheets. You have 10 different tabs open. You are copy-pasting email addresses from LinkedIn into Excel.
The worst.
And you're just constantly praying you didn't delete a row by accident or mess up a formula.
Oh, man, the spreadsheet anxiety is real. I've been there staring at, untitled spreadsheet 4, trying to remember if the color coding meant contacted or do not contact, or maybe just I like the color blue.
Exactly. It feels easy because everyone knows how to open a sheet, but it just doesn't scale.
No, it becomes high chaos very quickly.
It really does. But then the alternative is usually some massive, clunky enterprise CRM, a customer relationship management system that looks like the cockpit of a fighter jet.
Right. The heavy hitters, the sales forces of the world.
Precisely. And those are powerful tools, sure, but they often require weeks of training, expensive consultants to set up, and they are so complex that nobody on the team actually wants to use them.
Yeah.
They become these data graveyards where contact info just goes to die because the friction to enter data is way too high.
Data graveyards.
Yeah.
That is a terrifyingly accurate description. I think many of us have seen expensive software turning into digital dust collectors.
No, absolutely.
So the mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We are looking at a tool that claims to solve this exact problem. Today, we are reviewing folk.app, or just folk for short.
Right. And looking at the source material we have today, specifically that really comprehensive review by Felix Römer on smartkeys.org, the value proposition here is fascinating.
It really is.
Folk frames itself as a lightweight CRM. It is not trying to be the enterprise beast. It is designed to centralize your contacts and drastically cut the time you spend chasing information across browser tabs.
So the question we need to answer today for you listening is this. Does folk effectively bridge that gap? Is it the Goldilocks solution that sits perfectly between the simplicity of a spreadsheet and the power of a database?
Yeah.
And specifically, is it right for the modern agile teams that our listeners actually work in?
That is the key question.
Yes.
Because the landscape of work has completely changed. We aren't all sitting in traditional sales departments anymore.
Right.
The way we build relationships has evolved, and our tools really need to catch up.
Let's unpack that first. Who is this actually for? Because when I hear CRM, I immediately think of a guy in a suit making 50 cold calls a day.
Yeah, the classic boiler room visual.
Exactly. But the sources suggest this is much broader.
Much broader, and that is a crucial distinction to make right off the bat. The review highlights that folk targets a very diverse group, what we might call the prosumer or the network-led professional.
Okay.
Think about recruiters managing hundreds of candidates, or partnership managers trying to track which influencers or brand ambassadors they've spoken to.
Event organizers, too.
Absolutely. Event organizers, VCs managing deal flow, freelancers, small multi-role businesses. If you are a freelancer or running a small agency, you are the sales department, the marketing department, and the delivery department all at once.
You wear all the hats.
Exactly. You don't have time for a 6-month CRM implementation or a 3-day training seminar.
So it's for anyone whose job depends on relationships, not just closing deals in the traditional sense. It's about managing the network.
Precisely. And the core problem it solves is admin overhead. The heavy enterprise tools focus on control. Controls for the manager, reporting for the VP, forecasting for the board. They often sacrifice speed and usability for that control. Folk flips that script entirely. It focuses entirely on adoption.
Adoption is everything. I mean, you can have the most expensive, powerful software in the world, but if your team hates it...
They won't use it.
Exactly.
And if they don't use it, the data isn't there and the tool is useless. The key insight here is that folk achieves this adoption by mimicking an interface everyone already knows, the spreadsheet.
Which brings us to the interface.
Ugh.
I really want to talk about this grid view. Because when you log in, it doesn't look like a scary database. It looks like rows and columns.
That is by design. The review notes that the onboarding time is minutes, not weeks, specifically because of this grid view.
Right.
If you know how to use Excel or maybe Airtable or Notion, You automatically know how to use Folk. You can sort, you can filter, you can bulk edit. It leverages that muscle memory we all already have.
Bulk editing is a lifesaver. Being able to select 50 people and change their status to contacted in one click. That is immensely satisfying.
It really is.
But isn't there a risk there? If it's just a spreadsheet, why pay for it? Why not just use Google Sheets for free?
That's the skepticism we need. And the answer lies in what happens inside those cells. This is where we move from static storage, which is what a spreadsheet is, to dynamic data.
Okay, yes. We have to talk about magic fields.
Oh, yeah.
When I read this in the source material, I actually said, whoa, out loud. This feels like the aha moment of the entire software.
It really is. Let's play this out. In a traditional spreadsheet, if you want a contact's LinkedIn profile, their job title, their company avatar, maybe their latest company description, what do?
It's a nightmare. I open a new tab. I search for them on LinkedIn. I verify it's the right person. I copy the URL. I paste it back.
Right.
Then I search for their company website. Copy. Paste. And I just hope I didn't paste it into the wrong row.
And you do that 500 times if you're building a prospect list. It's mind-numbing work.
It's soul-crushing. It burns you out before you've even sent a single email.
Exactly. With Magic Fields, Folk automates that enrichment. You put in a name or an email, and the system goes out using their enrichment logic and pulls in the titles, the company info, the social links, even the avatar images.
Wow.
It populates the row for you.
So it's basically doing the Googling for you.
It is. And strategically, think about what that means. It's not just saving you 30 seconds of typing per contact, though that obviously adds up to hours very quickly. It prevents data decay.
Data decay. That sounds ominous.
It's a huge issue in any CRM. Manual entry is prone to error. You make typos, or you just get lazy and don't fill in the fields because you're in a hurry.
I'm definitely guilty of that.
We all are. You think, I'll add the job title later, and you never do. Then 6 months later, your data is completely useless. Magic Fields keep the records clean and standardized without human effort. It ensures your database actually reflects reality.
That is a huge point. Clean data is the holy grail. If the data is dirty, the insights are wrong, and your emails bounce. And speaking of getting data in, we need to talk about the Chrome extension.
This is one of the highest rated features in the user reviews we looked at. The workflow is seamless.
Yeah.
Imagine you are on LinkedIn, or you are on X, formerly Twitter, or even just on a company's About Us page. You see a prospect you want to track.
You just click the button in your browser.
You click the button, and it doesn't just save the name. It pushes the contact info directly into your Folk database. It categorizes it into the right group. And because of those magic fields, it enriches it instantly.
So the days of having a LinkedIn tab open on one screen and your CRM on the other, frantically typing back and forth, are over.
That is the goal. It reduces friction. And in sales, recruiting, or fundraising, friction is the enemy of volume.
Absolutely.
When you reduce friction, you increase the number of relationships you can manage effectively. It changes the psychology of prospecting from a chore into a simple click.
Now, storing data is one thing, but a CRM is useless if you don't act on the data. The source material talks a lot about the communication features. This isn't just a digital Rolodex.
No, it's an action platform. Folk has built-in email campaigns. This is interesting because usually in a modern stack, you'd have your CRM here, and then you'd have a separate tool like MailChimp or a dedicated sales engagement platform like Outreach for sending the emails.
Right.
Folk bundles them together.
But is it just a basic email blaster? Or can we get granular? Because I don't think anybody wants to receive a generic Dear Sir or Madam email anymore.
You can get very granular. The review highlights the personalization variables. You can write one email template, something like, "Hi, first name, I see you work at company," and it pulls directly from the database.
Standard mail merge stuff.
Standard, but crucial. You can insert those variables to make bulk emails feel like one-to-one notes, but they also have reusable snippets.
Okay, how do those work?
So if your team finds a pitch that works perfectly, or a specific way to answer a frequently asked question, you save it as a snippet, then everyone on the team can use it. It keeps the tone consistent across the brand.
I noticed they've integrated AI writing tools as well. Is this just jumping on the AI bandwagon, or is it actually useful?
According to the user feedback, it's actually quite practical. It's not necessarily about having the AI write the whole email for you, though it can, but about breaking writer's block.
Staring at the blank page.
Exactly. If you are staring at a blank screen wondering how to break the ice, the AI can help generate subject lines or opening sentences. It speeds up the drafting process significantly.
Okay, let's move to how you manage the actual deals or projects.
Okay.
Because lists are great, but eventually you need to move people through a process. They have a pipeline feature, right?
They do. It's a Kanban-style board. If you've used Trello or the board view in Asana, you'll be super familiar with it. You have columns representing stages, say, new lead, contacted, negotiating, closed.
And you just drag.
You just drag and drop the contact cards from one column to the next.
Simple, visual. I like that. It feels tactile.
It does. But the real power underneath that visual board is the activity timeline. This is something the review highlighted as absolutely crucial for teams, especially remote ones.
Tell us about that. Why does a timeline matter so much?
Well, imagine we are both working on the same account. I email the client today. You don't know that, so you email them tomorrow asking the exact same thing.
The classic double tap.
Yeah.
It makes us look completely uncoordinated and unprofessional.
Exactly. It kills trust immediately. The activity timeline consolidates everything. Emails, calls, notes, tasks. It puts it all into a single chronological view for that contact.
Nice.
So before you reach out, you glance at the timeline and see, oh wait, the expert speaker already sent the proposal yesterday. I should hold off or follow up differently.
That stops teammates from stepping on each other's toes. That is vital.
It creates a single source of truth for the entire relationship history.
I want to touch on integrations too, because no tool exists in a vacuum. We live in a very interconnected world. If this tool sits in a silo, it's not going to work for anyone.
Correct. Folk has native sync with Google and Microsoft. That covers your email, calendar, and contacts.
That's the baseline requirement for any tool these days.
Right. But for everything else, they lean heavily on automation bridges like Zapier and Make.
Why is that a strategic choice? Why not just build a million native integrations like the big players? Why not build a button that links directly to Slack, Salesforce, HubSpot, and QuickBooks?
It allows them to keep the core product lightweight and focused. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone and building a native integration for some obscure accounting software, they say, we will handle the contact management perfectly.
Right.
If you want to connect to a marketing tool or a support ticket system, use Zapier.
It's the unbundling philosophy.
Exactly. It allows businesses to keep their core stack light while still connecting to whatever complex tools they need. It's a very modern architectural decision.
Smart. But okay, let's be real for a second. We've been praising the tool, but the source material, specifically the Real Talk section of the review, points out some limitations.
We definitely have to address what folk cannot do. We don't want to sell a dream that breaks down in reality.
This is crucial for credibility. If you are listening to this and you are a CFO or a VP of sales at a large enterprise, you need to listen closely right now.
Folk lacks deep forecasting.
So no probability-weighted revenue modeling.
No. You cannot say, we have a 30% chance of closing this deal and a 60% chance of closing that one, so our weighted pipeline for Q3 is 4.2 million.
Got it.
It doesn't do that math. It's not designed for financial projection in that way.
And what about complex deal structures?
If you have a deal that involves 5 different stakeholders, 3 different billing entities, and a multi-year contract with varying tiered pricing, folk is going to struggle to represent that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't have complex multi-stakeholder deal architectures or advanced permission settings.
So if I need to hide certain high-value clients from my junior staff or restrict view access to specific regions, I might have a problem.
Yes. It's much harder to manage those granular permissions than in something like Salesforce, where you can lock down every single individual field.
So the verdict on limitations.
If you need enterprise-level reporting to present to a board of directors, this isn't it. But if you need execution, speed, and relationship management, it shines. It's a tool for doers, not just for reporters.
That's a great distinction. Doers versus reporters. Let's talk about the price tag. Is it actually affordable for the doers?
It is very competitive. The entry tier is around $25 per month per user. That covers your core needs, the lists, the basic pipeline.
And if I want the magic?
The plus tier is about $50 per month. That is where you get the magic fields we talked about and the email sequences.
I feel like the magic fields are the killer feature, so most people probably end up at the $50 tier. I mean, if you buy the $25 version, aren't you essentially just buying a spreadsheet?
To an extent, yes, though a spreadsheet with better UI and contact syncing.
Yeah.
But the $50 tier is where the automation ROI really kicks in. If that magic field saves you 5 hours of copy pasting a month, it has easily paid for itself.
Absolutely.
For larger teams needing unlimited caps and VIP support, there is a custom tier around $100. But, and this is important, there is a free plan. You can store up to 200 contacts.
Which is perfect for testing it out.
Exactly.
What are users actually saying? We have the specs, but what's the sentiment on the street? Are people actually happy with it?
The sentiment is very strong. We are looking at a 4.5 out of 5 on G2 and a 4.8 on Product Hunt.
Those are high scores in the sauce world. People love to complain if a button is 2 pixels to the left.
They really do.
What are they praising specifically?
Ease of use is the #1 phrase. People love that they don't have to read a manual. And interestingly, they praise the support. The in-app chat often replies within an hour.
That is rare. Usually you send a ticket and wait 3 days into the void, only to get an automated response.
Right. And when you compare it, unlike Salesforce, which is heavy and complex, Folk is about clarity. But unlike a basic spreadsheet, it offers that deduplication, context, and collaboration. It really is trying to perfectly occupy that middle ground.
So let's zoom out. What does this all mean for the future of work? Why should you, listening right now, care about a new CRM when there are already 1,000 on the market?
It signals a shift in the software stack. We used to believe in the all-in-one monolith. You buy one giant piece of software that does everything: HR, sales, marketing, operations.
But usually it does everything poorly.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Now we are seeing a trend toward unbundled stacks. Teams are choosing specialized, agile tools that are the absolute best at one thing and then making them talk to each other via APIs and automation.
And Folk is part of that wave.
It is. It's saying we are the best at relationship management for agile teams. We aren't an accounting tool. We aren't a marketing suite. We do relationships.
And for small to mid-sized teams, there's an efficiency argument here too.
The opportunity cost of a heavy CRM is lost time. If your team spends 2 hours a week just navigating menus, waiting for pages to load, and entering data, that is 2 hours they aren't selling, recruiting, or building partnerships.
Right.
Folk reclaims that time.
I love that. So if a listener is thinking, okay, I'm intrigued, how do I start? What is the practical takeaway? Do they just go buy licenses for the whole company tomorrow?
No, definitely don't do that. That's how you get shelfware, software that just sits on the shelf. The source material suggests a pilot strategy.
Okay.
Start with a 1-month pilot. Pick a small team, maybe just 2 or 3 people who are actively struggling with spreadsheets right now.
Keep it contained.
Exactly. Import your contacts, create your groups, and send a few actual campaigns. Use the tool in anger for 4 weeks.
Use it in anger. I like that. Put it through the ringer.
This is the fastest way to judge if it actually fits your workflow. If it works and if the team is actually smiling while using it, then you expand.
That's great advice. Test before you invest. As we wrap up, I want to leave the listeners with a thought. We've talked about automation today. Magic fields, AI writing, auto-enrichment. It feels like we are moving toward a world where data entry is becoming a thing of the past.
I think that is the inevitable direction we're heading.
And it raises a provocative thought. If the software handles the data entry, the memory, and the scheduling, what is actually left for the human?
The actual relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's take that one step further. If everyone eventually has access to these hyper-efficient tools, having the biggest network won't be a competitive advantage anymore, because anyone can automate a massive list.
That is a fascinating point.
Right. The true differentiator in the future of work won't be the size of your CRM. It will be the depth of trust you have with the people in it. Emotional intelligence, empathy, authentic connection. Those become the only hard skills that matter when the software does all the tracking.
That is profound. It forces us to focus purely on the human aspect of CRM. The tools are clearing the digital clutter so we can actually talk to each other. It takes the robot work away from the human so the human can just be human.
Less typing, more talking.
Ideally.
Yeah, so final verdict on Folk.
Ideally suited for teams that value speed and clarity over deep enterprise controls. If you want to move fast, it's a green light.
Thank you so much for tuning into the SmartKeys podcast. We hope this deep dive helps you navigate the chaotic world of relationship management.
It's been a pleasure unpacking this with you.
If you enjoyed this conversation and want more insights on the future of work and the latest SaaS tools, please subscribe to the podcast. And if you want the full details, the nitty-gritty specs we discussed today, click the link in the show notes to read the full folk.app review article by Felix Römer on smartkeys.org.
It's a great read. Highly recommended.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.